So I posted about the new Silverado EV on my Instagram last night, and all of the comments pointed out how it reminds them of a Chevy Avalanche. And then I read a comment that simply said, the EV Lanche, which I can't help thinking would have been a better name for this thing. But of course, GM wouldn't sacrifice using the Silverado name, which is one of the most successful badges in their portfolio. Nonetheless, this is the Silverado EV, and you're watching another episode of Omar Drives and Talks. Unlike the traditional car reviews that I do on YouTube, this is where I come to talk to you about some new automotive headlines, new car debuts, and just some random stuff that's on my mind. So, let's talk Silverado EV. Alright, first let me give you some highlights since GM didn't drop every single piece of detail just yet. The Silverado EV will be available in two trims including Work Truck and the RST. The Silverado EV Work Truck will start at $39,900, which is around the same as the base Ford F-150 Lightning Pro. The RST First Edition will be the fully loaded version of the Silverado EV, and that will carry a price tag of $105,000. In comparison, a fully loaded Ford F-150 Lightning Platinum will cost around $99,000. So what about the specs? Is this the Silverado pickup that we've all come to know and love? Well, just look at it. It doesn't have much in common with the Silverado, and that's because this is very similar to the GMC Hummer EV, obviously. But while the Hummer EV will make up to 1,000 horsepower with the Edition 1, the Silverado EV tops out at 664 horsepower and 780 pound-feet of torque with the RST First Edition. In comparison, the most powerful F-150 Lightning makes 563 horsepower and 775 pound-feet of torque. Now keep in mind, it isn't pumping out 664 and 780 all the time, and that's because Chevy says that you have to have the optional wide open watts mode to access that power. Wide open watts, which is an acronym for wow. That's clever. And also, you have to pay extra to wire yourself. Now, once you're accessing that full 664 horsepower, the Silverado EV RST will be able to go from 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds, which is similar to the Ford F-150 Lightning. I think the GMC Hummer EV Edition 1 with 1,000 horsepower can do it in 3 seconds flat. Max towing for the Silverado EV RST comes in at 10,000 pounds, similar to the max towing of the F-150 Lightning. Max payload comes in at 1,300 pounds, whereas the F-150 Lightning can carry up to 2,000 pounds. As for the Silverado EV Work Truck, which will only be available to fleet customers in the beginning, that makes 510 horsepower and 615 pound-feet of torque. The Work Truck has a max towing of 8,000 pounds and max payload of 1,200 pounds. Now, interestingly enough, Chevy says that after the initial launch, they will introduce a fleet model that has a 20,000 pound towing capacity with the max tow package, which is pretty crazy. So what about the EV side of things? What's the range and all that good stuff? GM says that it estimates a total of 400 miles on a full charge on both the Work Truck and the RST with the extended range battery. In comparison, the F-150 Lightning gets a max range of 300 miles on a full charge of its extended range battery. Both the Work Truck and the RST will have standard DC fast charging up to 350 kilowatts. GM estimates that the Silverado EV can get 100 miles of range in just 10 minutes if it's getting all the kilowatts possible. One cool thing to mention here is that you can get something called a power-based charging system that offers up to 10 outlets to provide a total of 10.2 kilowatts of power. The F-150 Lightning offers 9.6 kilowatts from 10 outlets. And the Silverado EV is also capable of charging another EV, and that's what siphoning gas looks like in 2022. Well, 2023 when the Silverado EV comes out, but yeah, the Ford F-150 Lightning will do that as well. Now, with all that out of the way, let's quickly take a look at some other cool and interesting things you'll see in the Silverado EV. The top-of-the-line flagship Silverado EV RST First Edition will get four-wheel drive steering, which will give it a turning radius of around 42 feet. Of course, this is not to be confused with crab walking from the Hummer EV, which is by far the coolest feature of any vehicle ever. The RST First Edition will also get something called a multi-flex midgate that expands the size of the bed to more than 10 feet. Tech-wise, the top-of-the-line Silverado EV will get a 17-inch touchscreen display for the infotainment system, an 11-inch digital instrument display that looks really sharp, and a multicolor heads-up display. The Work Truck trim will feature smaller displays and a simpler interior overall. And driver assist tech-wise, the RST First Edition will also come with the awesome Super Cruise system. So when will the Silverado EV go on sale? Well, you can put your reservation down now at Chevrolet.com. But the Silverado EV will debut with the working truck model in spring 2023, followed by the RST First Edition in fall 2023. Chevy says that customers will be able to equip both models with a bunch of other options with prices ranging from $50,000 to $80,000. Again, the base working truck starts at $39,900 and the RST First Edition will cost you $105,000 fully loaded. Oh, and there's also a Trail Boss version that's on the way as well, which I'm looking forward to. So yeah, the EV segment is starting to heat up, and that's because pickups are the best-selling segment in the United States, and whoever dominates it will be a big winner. We've got the Ford F-150 Lightning, we've got the Hummer EV, which I think is one of the best options. You've also got the Rivian R1T, which I also really like. Now the Silverado EV is here. The Tesla Cybertruck, God knows when that's ever gonna come out. And Ram is up next in 2024. Even Toyota is finally jumping in on the action. If you go read the comments on my Toyota Tundra review, you'll see that a lot of pickup truck shoppers and pickup truck enthusiasts are very upset that it no longer comes with the V8. I just wonder how upset they will be when pickup trucks no longer have an engine at all. Either way, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. My handle is @OmarDrives. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Peace. Oh, and I'm driving the Infiniti QX60 this week. It's pretty nice. Review will be dropping soon. So make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss that.